friends, it's Tiger. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I am here to give you guys 10 amazing landscape and design tips and tricks to help you whenever you decide to create your wonderful cottagecore island masterpiece. I hope that you guys find these very helpful. These are the tips that I use when creating my island, and I thought that I would share them with you because a lot of you guys have been asking me like, what items do I use or what should I do? So we're gonna go ahead and get started with the first tip, which is to give your island a foresty look by adding lots and lots of greenery. I like to add a bunch of trees around my island. As you can see, I like to use the cedar trees especially, but I still mix in the other trees as well. It just gives your island that look of the wilderness and like a forest, very woodsy. I use shrubs as well all over my island, and flowers and weeds, especially in the fall. The weeds look really nice. And you can also use tree stumps on your island to create more of a naturey feel, really just anything. Also, another tip is to add dropped items on your island, especially the mushrooms. They look so good if you just drop them on top of a mush stool or like a log or really anything. So yeah, that's the first tip. Number 2 is to use wooden items to give that rustic feel. I like to use barrels, log stools, and other wooden items. As you can see, if you use vibrant modernistic items, I feel like it would kind of take away from that cottage rustic feel. So I like to use more retro items whenever I'm decorating my island, and log stakes, even dropped pieces of wood look really nice. And just, yeah, something about that wooden texture just perfectly vibes with the cottagecore aesthetic. I use so much wood on my island, even wooden fencing, mostly wooden furniture, and also just anything really brown. I also use the log bridges on my island to kind of continue with that wooden theme. Tip number 3 is to choose items that have personality and charm that you would see in someone's actual home, like potted plants and other things. I even used a bicycle, even though it's more modern. I feel like it could still work on your island. And gnomes, different signs, comfy chairs, clothing items look great, especially on the beach. I like to put shoes down or hats. It just gives that homey vibe to your island, and it makes it look like people actually live here. You can see I put dishes in front of Poppy's house and music players around, and you can choose what music you actually want in that area, which is really nice as well. And they also just have a lot of options for like retro music players. I also like to use books and cushions all around. You can see in front of Dobie's house I put a little pair of boots and a lawnmower and a little watering can. And yeah, I think that adding these personalized items really makes a difference. Tip number 4 is to add seating spaces for your villagers to interact with. It just gives that communal and family vibe to your island, and it just makes it look more cozy and welcoming and inviting. Plus, it's really cute whenever your villagers sit down in a little chair or a bench and they're just sipping on their drink or eating their sandwiches, and it's so stinking cute. Seating areas are also great whenever people visit your island, and you can take really nice photos together sitting on a bench or at a restaurant or something on your island. Yeah, so seating areas are nice, especially in small spaces that you don't know what to do with. The 5th tip that I'm going to share is to use cliffs to create dimension and depth on your island. Again, this gives the effect of wilderness. You can see there's different layers of nature, and it just looks really nice. If you had a flat island, it would look more civilized and more modern. Having cliffs and trees and water everywhere just gives that look of like no one's been here, but people have been here and they're kind of just settling in. The area's not fully civilized yet, I guess. The 6th tip is to create spaces that people would use in real life, if that makes sense. I have like this surf rental area on my beach, which is really realistic to me. I even have a restaurant on my island with chairs and little dining areas, a farm that actually has plants and soil and farm related items. And you can get creative and have little tiny spaces like this pottery studio that I made, or this study area next to my museum. I think having these realistic areas on your island just gives it more personality. The seventh tip is to use dirt or rustic pathways on your island. It gives your island that earthy and worn out look, and again, it just kind of takes away from that civilized vibe and brings it more to that woodsy, cozy, village in the forest vibe. Tip number 8 goes hand in hand with the pathways. Utilize custom designs to spice up your grass and your sand on your beaches. I like to use all kinds of design codes throughout my island, especially the little clovers and piles of leaves around. It just gives that extra touch of nature. And I also like to place flowers and leaves underneath furniture. It just gives another layer of detail and it looks realistic. Tip number 9 is to create remote areas for your villager homes that are surrounded by nature. Again, use wooden plants and cottagecore aesthetic items around the homes. If your villager homes are all nestled up in the same space, again, it gives that civilized town vibe. So I like to give them their own space on top of cliffs or near rivers, maybe even seaside, just so it looks like they settled into their own space on the island. The last tip that I have is to keep the rural theme throughout the entire island, even around the storefronts and the museum. I like to add a lot of trees in front of and near my stores because the stores look very modern and it's hard to kind of blend them into that cottagecore aesthetic. So just kind of hide them with trees and cottagecore items because that's what I do and I think it looks pretty decent. I like to use mushroom furniture and just random stuff that looks very cottage-like, I guess. I even surrounded my plaza with cliffs just to make it more naturey. And yeah, those are the 10 tips that I had to share with you guys today. I hope that you found them helpful and that you feel more confident with designing your own cottagecore island. You could use these tips on any items if you just interchange the theme, I guess, of the items. So yeah, if you guys liked this video, leave a like and comment down below. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notifications so you don't miss tomorrow's video. I will see you guys later. Bye!